pleasure today to welcome to the whole Be Bold conversation, Mr. Makhtar Diop, the Managing Director of the IFC. Makhtar, welcome to the Be Bold conversation. I'd like to thank you for your continued support for sustainable energy for all and the entire UN system, and then the actions as a global leader, not just on the energy space, but also on the infrastructure space for many years. Mr. Diop is one of my favorite people in the space, so I'm really excited to start this discussion. My first conversation, especially as IFC was a key global champion on the way to the high-level dialogue, is why are you so personally passionate about energy access, and what is your motivation for driving universal energy access?
Let me first, Damilola, thank you for your leadership. You have been an outstanding leader coming at the head of sustainable energy for all. And the work you have been doing are really, for me, very impressive in a sense that you have highlighted a few important messages, that energy in sufficient quantity, I repeat, in sufficient quantity is necessary for people to improve their livelihood. It's not only to lighten a bulb, it's able to use energy to be able to run machinery and to be increasing production and productivity. You have highlighted also another message which is important that I share fully, is that sustainability is compatible with economic efficiency. We can now, particularly in the poorest part of the world, have solutions, technical solutions that allow the poorest to access energy at an acceptable price while not polluting the world. So this is two messages which are very important, and I subscribe totally to. So now, why I'm motivated? Because I've seen all my life. I'm an African. I know that when you put electricity in a place, you just transform and revolutionize the place. So the transformation impact of electricity and energy is massive in Africa. And since we are all driven by reducing poverty in the emerging economies, we have to increase access to energy.
Thank you so much. And I think highlighting enough energy to be productive is really, really key. And which leads me to my next question. What do you see as the biggest challenges to achieving SDG 7, that's affordable and clean energy for all, by 2030? And what are the biggest opportunities? And I'll also caveat that is, what is IFC doing to raise ambition towards achieving SDG 7?
The gap is that there is not enough resources. That's a big challenge. And the government doesn't have enough resources to reaching the SDG 7 by 2030. So they need resources from various sources. And what we have seen at the COP26 is something totally new. I was at the COP21. At COP21, the conversation was only public sector and non-governmental organization. In COP26, we had a very integrated conversation between the private sector, philanthropy, and public sector. And the novelty is that everybody now is working together towards that goal. So I think that we have a challenge, a gap, which is the financing, but we have a lot of very interesting solutions that we are putting forward. And I think that the fact that we, together, you and I, we were participating to this launch of this philanthropy initiative, which we try to de-risk investment in the energy sector, and particularly in Africa, will help a lot in reaching the SDG 7. The second challenge is the situation of utilities. We need to really bring some financial sustainability to the utilities. Often there are challenges and they are facing some problems. So improving the governance, investing more in operation and maintenance, reducing the level of technical losses and commercial losses, all these are challenges that need to be addressed so that we can really have a sector which is financially sustainable and therefore being able to bring electricity to everybody in Africa.
Thank you so much. I think the point that you touched on in terms of the utilities is very, very critical, because we can't really achieve the energy access targets that we want till 2030 if we don't really make a concerted effort to make sure the utilities are viable. Getting enough of the right type of financing into these countries, into these spaces, the right type of de-risking instruments. And I think a key role of that is the partnership that we're both involved in, the Global Energy Alliance for People and Planet. Thank you so much, Mr. Diop, for taking the time.